Good morning. This is Sean Spence with Let's Talk Poverty News, your U.S. poverty headlines for the week of March 16th through March 22nd. Headline 1. A new book forces a hard look at who is actually homeless in America. This week, CNN ran a major feature on a book that is quietly changing the conversation around homelessness in this country. The book is called There Is No Place for Us: Working with Homelessness in America. Written by journalist Brian Goldstone, the story Goldstone tells is not the one that most people picture. It is not about addiction or mental illness. It is about people who go to work every single day and still cannot afford a stable place to live. Goldstone argues that housing has been left out of the story we have told about homelessness for decades. He points to a poll from the late 1980s in which New Yorkers were asked what causes homelessness. People named psychological problems, alcoholism, drug addiction, and a refusal to work. Not a single person mentioned housing cost. That framing has never fully gone away, and Goldstone says that is not by accident. He writes that in places where low-wage work is the norm, a job can essentially be homelessness waiting to happen. A minor car repair, a brief illness, a disruption in childcare. Any of these can be disastrous for a family with no financial cushion. The book has earned wide attention and was named one of the 10 best books of 2025 by the New York Times and The Atlantic. If you want to understand who is experiencing homelessness in America right now, this is a story worth following. Headline 2. New work rules are already cutting food assistance for the most vulnerable. New requirements tied to the federal budget law passed last July are now taking effect across the country, and for the people experiencing homelessness, the impact is being felt directly. The law applies new work requirements to older adults and parents of school-aged children for the first time. It also removes previous exemptions for veterans, people experiencing homelessness, and young people who have recently aged out of foster care. Unless those individuals can document at least 20 hours per week of work or participation in a narrow set of approved activities, they can only receive food assistance for 3 months out of every 3 years. Experts point out that when an adult loses food assistance because of these requirements, it is not only that individual who is affected. The reduction in benefits applies to everyone in the household, including children. Advocates say that millions of individuals, including caregivers, veterans, older adults, and those experiencing homelessness, will now face greater hardship as a result of these changes. States are implementing the rules on different timelines, so the full picture is still developing. But for those already living on the edge, these changes are already arriving right now. Headline 3. California spent $700 million on homelessness. Here is what happened. A report published this week by Jefferson Public Radio offers a detailed and honest look at what California has accomplished and where things have fallen short. Through a major state program designed to move people out of encampments and into permanent housing. The Encampment Resolution Fund was built on a clear goal: get people off the streets and into stable homes. But journalists covering the program found significant challenges, including staff turnover, nonprofit burnout, and difficulty preparing long-term unsheltered individuals for the demands of permanent housing. One nonprofit serving Humboldt County received $3.5 million in grant funds. Their original plan was to open a supported camping village. While that project continues to develop, they are currently housing 22 people in a motel and providing rental support for 8 others. The lesson here is not that the effort was wasted, it is that transitioning someone out of years of street homelessness is complex, expensive, and deeply human work. One program leader noted that the more community members interact with people experiencing homelessness and see them successfully transition to housing, the more that understanding and compassion grows. That matters as much as the dollars. Headline 4: A small town in Maine shows what prevention can look like. We close this week with a story that is genuinely worth celebrating. In York County, Maine, a pilot program launched through a partnership between local schools and a community action organization is quietly doing something remarkable. The Maine Housing Student Homelessness Prevention Pilot has already helped 84 families through a $275,000 allocation to the region, with the Biddeford School Department leading a consortium of 5 school districts across southern Maine. The families being helped are not, for the most part, chronically homeless. They are dealing with sudden financial crises, a job loss, and unexpected car repair that without intervention could push them into homelessness. The program provides up to $750 per family for expenses like security deposits, rent, utilities, and minor home repairs. Schools play a central role in identifying at risk students and connecting families to resources. The program set an initial goal of serving 60 families. It has already surpassed that, supporting 84 households representing 331 individuals and 160 enrolled students. A program coordinator there said it well. We do not talk enough about the connectivity of families living in poverty and the desire they have to break free of the cycle. I do not meet families who think it is fun. They want to grow and learn, and they want to meet people who can help them grow and learn. That is the work. That is what it looks like. And this week, it is happening in Maine and in communities just like yours all across this country. That is our news edition for the week of March 16th. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Poverty. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, and we will soon be back with more. I am Sean Spence. Learn more at povertyactivist.com. Together, we can solve poverty.